studio-type productions before, so he enlisted Bhargav Duranmaraju to edit for him. Nostalgia Critic was based around a guy making videos about old nostalgic movies and criticizing them with an angry personality. Sound familiar? NC did come out about 3 years after AVGN, so it's not entirely preposterous to think he got some quote-unquote inspiration. Nostalgia Critic nonetheless became very popular and got Doug a lot more contributors to his website, thatguywiththeglasses.com, later renamed Channel Awesome. Doug made multiple anniversary specials with the major contributors of way too long lengths, ending into Boldly Flee, a 3.5-hour-long experience, all edited by Doug himself. That special originally killed off the Nostalgia Critic because Doug wanted to move on and not be solely associated with the character. He would in the end go back to being associated with the character, but he got up to another project before bringing the NC back, the infamous Demo Reel. Demo Reel consisted of Doug and his crew making terrible, unfunny skits about movies for over 30 minutes at a time. Fans hated it, and not a single person seemed to be on board other than Doug, who wanted to try his shot at pure comedy, and shocker, showed his unprofessional filmmaking level along with it. Doug decided to bring back the Nostalgia Critic with this big campaign to make better content, earning over $90,000 in the process. His beginning project was Pop Quiz Hotshot, a badly made game show that looked like it had been filmed in the back alleys of Detroit. It has no production value, so fans were hoping all that money was going to be put into the revival. Where the money went is considered one of the biggest mysteries of our world today because, let's be real, it sure as fuck was not spent on the show.
How close? Decent costume, clever writing, good-looking guy underneath?
It's time to stop!
Through the next several years, Doug made Nostalgia Critic videos with tons of skits and long gags. I'll have more to say on that later, but that's the best way to summarize NC from 2013 to 2018. Why 2018? Though there's much to say in the way of the not-so-awesome documents, I'll simply summarize here with Doug and his company being proven as both inadequate and still headstrong in the worst possible ways. I know I sound vague, but that's only since I'll be getting deeper into specifics later. And by later, I mean now. Let's start. Production! James Rolfe is and has been very well versed in film. He's created them since he was a kid and grew up wanting to be a filmmaker. He has a bachelor's degree in fine arts with a minor in hand-drawn animation. His skill was apparent even from the earliest episodes of AVGN. Videos like Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Spider-Man to name a few showed he could light a scene, make decent costumes for characters, recreate shots and parody, and use both practical and computer-enhanced effects, however amateur some may be. And this was all in the early to mid-2000s, far before the rapid increase in professional teams creating full-fledged videos. James was really an inspiration to better content. With his animating skills, he created visuals not many others could create, such as in his Atari Jaguar video and such. Though it might seem primitive now, he was really awing to see back in the early 2000s when there was nothing like this for internet show creators. As he grew, he owned his craft and raised the stakes of his visuals like any content creator should. He learned to use green screen, he practiced choreography, he lined up better shots, and his visual effects only improved in both practical and digital aspects. He also sometimes would have small skits during the videos as parodies of games, their franchises, or certain aspects he highlighted in the review. But even if they weren't always necessary, they'd usually have nice sets, good effects, and were so well made it fit in well with the rest of the review. An easy example is in the Berenstein Bears video, which gave criticism and commentary on the mostly dull generic games, but also added subtle hints of the time paradox theory, making the nerd more and more outraged until he got to his house and a weird, over-the-top skit plays out. In this nature, the skit fit seamlessly with the rest of the review, and if you were going to try and attempt such a thing, you'd want to fit the skits into the review without having them be too long or take away from the review itself, mostly just being little hints until it led up to the big conclusion. Granted, James' humor can be less sophisticated and predictable, but his sailor profanities are part of the character, and it's hard to see the nerd without it, and even with that, he sometimes does have some very good jokes in there. On some occasions, he does go for a bit too long, but it's never too often, and it usually is somewhat entertaining at least. Doug Walker, on the other hand, has never been that big of a movie-making guy. He did study film at Northern Illinois University, but he majored in communications rather than filmmaking. For the longest time, he had the template of, guy sits in front of white wall, guy makes fun of movie by giving a thorough plot synopsis with few and far between critiques, guy reviews the film in the last 2 minutes, maybe. Most people were fine with that. Nostalgia Critic wasn't a complex series and didn't require much for the fans to like it. When he did try to attempt effects, that's a different story entirely. We all have the classics, bad cropping, middle school level drawings, neon text, the works. Nostalgia Critic wasn't as much liked for his visuals, rather than a Nostalgia Critic character and making jokes disguised as criticism. By season 6, he decided to up the ante and make better production. It didn't end well. He got actors together, started using more green screen, and upped the comedy to the 11th degree. 3. He got backlash for it at the time, and he still does today. He showed early signs before killing off the Nostalgia Critic that he wanted to implore more comedy into his videos, starting in Season 5's last episode for the Scooby-Doo movie. That video has overly long skits with terrible costumes, boring set design and camera work, and everyone acts like they don't want to be there other than Doug. The video has almost 13 minutes and 38 seconds of skits. That's over a third of the entire video. Some would give this video the benefit of the doubt for originally being the last NC episode, so I'll compare it to his most recent Kim Possible review. It's still almost 6 minutes of skits spaced out mostly at the beginning and right at the end. Doug continues to have barely any sets outside of badly implemented green screens, giving his video a much more fake and artificial feeling to them. The boring shot composition doesn't help either. His effects haven't really leveled up in the past 4 years, so it gives me the feeling that Doug is simply too lazy to hire a visual artist and thinks he can do it all by himself despite needing a moderately sized crew to make what he does now, which isn't that much. In production, Doug suffers noticeably. Integrity! Of these two, what is something so profound about them that this aspect of their channels can go unspoken without anyone being confused? Talking about nostalgic properties. AVGN reviews games from the 80s to early 2000s, while Nostalgia Critic reviews movies from around the same time period. In this regard, James has stayed mostly faithful to his content. He looks at mostly NES, SNES, Genesis, N64, and PlayStation era games. He looks at the same era when it comes to game accessories, random failed consoles, etc., etc. At worst, James went to the beginning of the Xbox 360's life cycle with Sonic 06. For the most part, he's still entirely faithful to what he was before. Hold on a second. It's the head of redundancy department, redundancy. Doug Walker doesn't do something I previously informed people James Rolfe did? Never would have guessed. Doug was faithful to his persona and his rules at one point. Then he tried to kill off that persona, and in bringing it back, he said he wouldn't review any films still in theaters with that persona. He found a way, people. He found a way. He decided to make clipless reviews and still currently does today. What is a clipless review? Well, it's demo reel, but Nostalgia Critic cuts in with his own wacky comments on the situation and how the production is really bad, and in turn, because they have tried to acknowledge their own mediocrity, they are geniuses of comedy. I am rolling on the floor laughing like the man-child that I am. Unlike James, Doug doesn't really know how to use a green screen or how to integrate characters into the environment he sets up for them, thus every character is on the same static background, almost no complexity in sight. Back in the good old days, Doug only had to miss key points in a review and show the point he missed in a clip he doesn't address but puts it in the video anyways. Now in the year 21XX, he can create his own clips from his recollection of a film he saw in theaters, to bend the clips to his own will in service of whatever narrative he wants to push. That way you can't look into it unless you want to drop $12 to go and see the film yourself. No one other than Doug's incessant fans like the clipless reviews. Every commentator under the sun has made videos denouncing him for his dishonesty and how info about the film was presented, his promise to not sink to such a low, and they especially rag on him for trying to revive demo reel and a type of spiritual successor that never really got off the ground. Review. Although AVGN is mostly known for coming up with a modicum of various insults to games, he does give actual critiques to give a reason for those insults. He complains about bad controls, how stiff or weightless characters feel, level layout, graphics, character design, creativity, odd mistakes, and so on. The reason for that is obvious. You need to spend many hours going through a
I've seen things that would scare you shellless.
Greetings, traveler. Good day to you. Keep your powder dry.
What's the situation? We can do this.
Many deals for a friend of the Grummles, like you. Farewell, friend of the Grummles.
What do you need?
Catherine Proudmoore turned us away and had her own daughter cast out as a traitor. Why would you help us?
Humor an old knight for a moment, would you? I was in a battle many years ago. It was the Second War? Tough to keep them all straight. An Orcish juggernaut struck our transport. Splinters from the gunwale ripped across the deck and tore into a friend of mine. Should have been his ticket home, but he was a stubborn one. Refused to leave before the war was won. So he patched himself up and told the healers he was fine. A few days later, he woke up screaming and drenched in sweat. Infection had eaten away at his insides. My friend never saw another sunrise. By the time he asked for help, it was too late. Kul Tiras still bears the scars of the Third War. No one feels this more deeply than Catherine Proudmoore.
Ahoy!
But she is misguided. Her advisors have kept her blind to the infection that is spread throughout our kingdom. The land I love is falling apart, so I'm asking for your help. Kul Tiras needs the Alliance just as badly as you need us.
I see. Then we shall prove to Catherine Proudmoore the same truth that I learned at great cost. In unity, there is strength.
Anchors away.
I've seen enough war for the
Well
both
met.
of us.
Serve with honor.
Well met. Remain vigilant. Dismissed.
Hello. See you later. Sir, the situation report is ready.
Excellent. Hero, Talia
Together
will
we
get
can
you up to
unify
speed.
Kul Tiras. Duty calls. Kul Tiras is made up of several major houses. They were unified under Dalin Proudmoore's leadership, but that gradually changed after his defeat at Theramore. How can I help? Come back with stories. I've trained my whole life for this. I've always dreamed of adventure. For Kul Tiras.
For country, for family.
We are the sons and daughters of the Alliance.
Can I help you?
Good day to ya. Look always to the sea. What can I do for ya? Keep the wind in your sails. Safe passage to you. Heading to Drusvar, eh? You're lucky you got me, skipper, in this boat. Most of the ferrymen won't dock there anymore. What with all the dark rumors about. Wasn't long ago that traders would frequent this ferry, looking to secure goods for the farmers and the miners there. Lately, though, these mines seem to have dried up, and the butchers are nowhere to be found. I'm not superstitious like most Kul Tirans, but even I have to admit, there's something about Drusvar lately that gives me the willies. Whatever your business is there, I recommend you get it done quick. We'll be putting down a little further. Carver's Arbor isn't a... Last time we tried to drop anchor there, a wolf nearly took my leg. There we go. This is the furthest I'll take you. Best of luck, mainlander. If you have gods, you better out there with you here.
Oh my god. Oh shit. just came back. Please, just start.
What's happened? Oh, you barnacle bottom swine!
It's too far away.
Oh, don't mind, son. Eat ages. Is old.
I need to get closer.
Bombs away! Bombs away!
Target something first. I'm out of range. I need a target. I need to get closer. It's too far away. I'm out of range. It's too far away. Target.
Avast, you bill!
I need to get closer.
Guess I'll be off to the locker.
Right, yeah. You're great, sorry. Sorry, you smell like parrot guano.
Oh my god, I don't got time for bullshit. Oh. I still got no time for bullshit like this, so please move.
Get something first.
I've got it on good authority. The captains are gathering to meet. If we get into that party, you can cut off all the heads from this Hydra in one fell swoop. The Blacktooth Brawlers love hardening their knuckles in a fight. If you can loosen their teeth, Captain Raoul will definitely want you at the meeting. Getting your hands on an invitation will make the job easier. Or just rush in and attempt to kill 3 of the most feared pirate captains all at once. Your decision.
Yeah. Oh.
Attack that target. I'm out of range.
Oh my god, stop.
I'm out of range. I don't have a target. I need to get closer. I need to target something first.
I'll be needing another drink before I can stomach you lot again.
No, I still had bullets in the chamber.
Will I ever meet an opponent who can match my
Place your bets. We got a new set of competitors. Take it away, Gerthok and Woden.
That's your cue, landlubbers.
Ouch! Why'd you poke me? Oh, wake up, Woden. We're on.
Come on, say the things. Say the things.
Ouch! Okay. Gather round for a show of unbridled ferocity. Coming to you from parts unknown. The mysterious, the dangerous, the slightly unkempt, the band of smelly buccaneers. And entering the ring, we have the amazing, the incredible, the magnificent, the... What the... Really? Really? It's a greased up pig? I'm beginning to think this is not a professional setup. Oh, well, grab the pig and you win. Maybe we should move on to a more threatening challenge. From the sewers of Freehold comes a Tortolan brigand who makes it his duty to totally hurt you. He is the dynamo of defense, the sergeant of shell shock, the hellion in a half shell, Ludwig! And they better be, because their next challenger is the epitome of brutality. A champion that sleeps with the fishes. Literally. The Freehold fanatic. The master of the jagged jawbone jab. The powerful pugilist predator. Trothak the Shark Puncher!
To target something first. I need a target. something first.
Think you can stand against me, swine? Allow me to educate you.
Beware.
I need to get closer.
These scallywags with our heavy gun.
I'm out of range.
All hands on deck. These scallywags with our heavy gun. These scallywags with our heavy gun. Swap the deck with their gizzards. Blast these Derby dogs to bits.
It's too far away. I'm out of range.
These
Target something first.
What can I do for you? Smooth sailing. Lord Admiral's favor, friend.